it's your girl Giselle back with another video. Today's video is going to be about a redo of a makeup look I did about a year ago for my husband's birthday, which was for a club night out. So if you're interested in finding out how I got this nightlife, club, lounge, cute, fierce makeup look, then keep watching, but make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Okay. Damn! So as you can see, I already applied my foundation. I did put my lotion and then the primer and then my foundation, and my foundation is the same foundation from my last makeup tutorial, which is the Too Faced Born This Way. And what I use to apply the foundation is my Real Techniques sponge. I love this sponge, like I explained in the last video. All you have to do is just dampen it, squeeze out the excess liquid, and it expands, and it's really soft. It's, I believe, like $6-7 for one, but I usually buy like the 2 to 3 pack, and it's like maybe 12-13 bucks. It's really good in price. It's just as good or even better than the Beauty Blender, and the Beauty Blender that I used to use, that I used to love, is I believe like $25. So there's a big price difference, and that is for one Beauty Blender. So I suggest trying the Real Techniques. So what I'm gonna continue with will be my concealer, which I'm gonna place under my eyes, in the middle of the bottom portion of my forehead. What is the shade? I have the light medium shade, and this is the Tarte Too Faced Born This Way.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
If you can see, hopefully it's focusing. So again, I do have a mirror to my right, which looks like your left. So I'm just going to be applying the concealer. And again, that's under my eyes, in between my eyebrows, down the bridge of my nose, underneath my bottom lip, and that's pretty much it. And I'm just gonna use the sponge to blend out, and this is gonna highlight your under eye. And I do like to also bring it down to the bottom sides of my nose. That area for me tends to get red or pinkish over time for whatever reason. So again, I do like to highlight that area. You can apply some concealer if you want there as well. And this is all of your contour process. This is the highlighting, and then we'll continue with contouring with a dark color. Most times I do contour and bronze with powder, but when I go out, like I did for my husband's birthday, and I like to get a little more glammed, I like to contour with liquid. This is a concealer. It's a Maybelline concealer in the color Cafe, 30 Cafe, and I don't know, when I get glammed up, I tend to lean more towards the liquid concealer. So, God, excuse my gray hairs. This is embarrassing. But we're gonna keep it 100, and we're gonna keep it real on this channel, because that's just what I do. So I'm gonna apply this to the top of my forehead, the side of my forehead, and I need to buy a new one. This is finishing. I do apply on each side of my cheekbone, and then a little bit right underneath my jawline. That does help to give the illusion of a smaller turkey neck.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
In my case. So we're just gonna blend this out. And you're just gonna pounce this in. And I like to pounce it going upward starting lower on the forehead and bringing it upward towards the hairline. And do it the same way going towards the side of my hairline, towards my sideburn. Do you see how hairy my sideburn is? Like, that's not even cute. I got like the whole Elvis Presley thing going on.
No, no, no.
And I think we all tend to make funny faces when we're contouring certain parts of our faces. This being one. It helps to see the jawline, a clearer jawline, so that you can blend out in the right place. You don't want to blend too high or too low. And comment down below, let me know if there's anything you prefer for me to do in my videos, especially the makeup videos, because I know I'm pretty close up. Let me know if you want it a little farther, if you want it more close up, if you need more detailed information about products, or if you have any techniques, any advice, I will take those as well. Okay, so now that we put the concealer, we put the bronzer, now we're gonna set everything in place. I do have a separate sponge that I use. This is actually a beauty blender. The color is beige, so yes, it is a little dirty, but it naturally is beige, so it's not that filthy. So what I'm going to do is take my Laura Mercier loose setting powder, and I'm going to, actually before I do that, I'm gonna do my eyebrows, because I do my eyebrows a little bit different when I am going out as opposed to just a regular day. So I'm gonna brush my eyebrows up, and they look terrible because the salons are closed, so I have not had my eyebrows done. I want to say before the quarantine thing happened. I already didn't do my eyebrows for about a month. I don't do it every 2 weeks because I like to grow out my eyebrows. I don't like little thin eyebrows. I like thicker eyebrows. So I tend to let them grow out for like a month and a half before I get them done, but that was probably a mistake. So I'm just gonna outline them. They're so hairy. This is definitely beyond the point that I usually keep it. And just fill it in. And a lot of the products you'll be seeing in my videos, usually they're the same products or similar. I like to pretty much use the same product. I do tend to get comfortable, and I don't change too often unless I see advertisement on something that looks really good. So I'm gonna brush this out. Brush, brush, brush. And this is the same eyebrow product also from the last video, which is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill in the color Brunette. So this is how it looks. It's not focusing at all. Well, hopefully you got the name. So I'm gonna fill in the sides a little bit more because I do like the outer part of my brow where the arch goes down, the arch and then down. I like to fill that more and make it darker. And then what I normally do is take a little brush like this, and I use that to, you can put concealer. Actually, I'm gonna have to put concealer because I usually use foundation so that it can color my skin better and not be too light around my eyebrows. And I put that on my hand and I just dab the brush, and I will pretty much clean the eyebrow. And it gives it a much more sharp look. I mean, in this case, it's not gonna look too sharp because my eyebrows need to get done, but hopefully you get the idea. Now we're gonna do the top of the eyebrow. And you can do just the bottom and not the top. I like to do both. Again, it does give it a more sharp look. And as you can see, it is a little darker around the eyebrow, but we're gonna set our foundation so it'll look better. Again, eyebrows are not twins, they are sisters. On bad days, they are cousins or neighbors. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is set everything, because when you use liquid, you need to use all your liquid makeup first and then go to powder. Once you put powder on liquid, you cannot use any more liquid because that would just mess up your whole look. I'm gonna drink some of my favorite water. Ooh, just spilled a little. These big lips get dry a lot. It's ridiculous. Okay, so back to the Laura Mercier. I'm gonna pour some powder into the top and take my beauty blender and set my concealer first. I don't normally bake. My skin tends to look too dry when I do that. So I just apply enough powder to the areas I want to set and highlight a bit so that I don't have to really dust them off. So we highlight it between the brows and down the nose, under the lip. And now we're going to set our bronzer. So I'm gonna be using the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. This is an oldie but a goodie. I've had this forever. As you can see, I already used the middle part, which is what I used to use to highlight underneath my eyes. I'm gonna be using the middle shade, this shade right here, and that's gonna help me to contour even more. Actually, I'm gonna use a smaller brush for this, and I'm gonna use the MAC 168, I believe it is, to bronze and conceal. I'm sorry, contour. I'm just gonna follow that little line, and I like to tap off excess product. And I like a pretty sharp line, but I don't want it to look too unnatural, so this is when I use my big brush. This is a Morphe. This came in a set, so I don't even see the style, but this is what I'll use to kind of blend out the harsh line. And I love big brushes. They just take care of more areas of your face at one time. So now I'm gonna do my forehead. And we're gonna bronze. Tap off. My husband Carlos makes fun of me. You and your tapping, I always hear clicking and tapping. That's how I know you're doing makeup. he's at work right now. Okay, that looks pretty good, pretty tanned. This is the only way I'm gonna get a tan, being stuck at home all day, every day. I feel like a damn vampire. So I'm sure my makeup is not even light enough for me, but it is what it is. All right, so I think I'm tanned enough, bronzed up enough. So what I'm also going to be doing is applying some of the Laura Mercier underneath my contour to give it more of a sharp line. I'm going to do that on both sides. Try to make it as even as possible. And you'll start from about your hair where your sideburns are down towards your lip. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. And that's gonna give me a little more of a sharp line, more defined. So now that I'm not gonna apply any more product to my face, I'm going to set my eyebrows. And this is the Benefit 24-hour brow setter, clear gel. And I used to think that this didn't do anything for the eyebrows, so I didn't use brow setters for a long time after I started my makeup, but once I used it, I noticed a huge difference. It definitely keeps your brows in place a lot better than if you didn't use the product. So what's next? Now we're going to work on the eyes, the most important part. So this is a lot more of a nighttime sexy vibe. So we're gonna start with the outer part of the eyelids. Let's see, I'm gonna use my larger blending brush, which is the Morphe M504. Excuse my ugly nails. And we're gonna use a light grayish color. And just apply towards the outer part of our eye. And for this look, it's gonna be like a build-up process. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're just gonna blend back and forth and around, circular motions. You can add a little more to make it a little more darker. And I like to put the lightest color on top with the largest blending brush. And I'm gonna use the same color. And this is a really old Morphe palette, really, I think this is my first palette from them. It obviously fell, some broke off, but this is the color that I'm using. They don't give colors on this palette, in the old palettes, but I love Morphe. They're so affordable and their eyeshadows blend out so well. Okay, I'm gonna add some more of that same color. And I did also apply some foundation. You can apply concealer or any kind of eyelid liquid to your eye, and then you set it with a powder like you did the rest of the face so that your eyeshadow applies a lot more smooth. I am going to now take a Morphe E14 brush, and this is a tapered brush, I believe it's called, and I'm going to use I think I left the palette. Okay, so I am back. All right, so I'm using an old Anastasia palette. This is how it looks. I love these palettes. And I'm gonna be using the blush color. It's like a light grayish with speckles of, it looks like speckles of pink, but the gray pops a lot more. So I'm gonna apply that to my eyelid. And it may all look like the same color all over the eye, but this takes time. So just be patient. It may look a little crazy, but it will get better and better as you continue. So now we're gonna go back to our blending brush, but we're gonna use a smaller brush this time, and this is the Morphe E23. And we're gonna use a little bit of a darker gray color, which is gonna be, I just scratched it, this color right here. And we're gonna apply a little lower on the lid towards the outer part, and then we're gonna bring it in. So circular motions in the outer part, and then small circular motions going in and wiping back and forth. Very lightly with a light hand. And we're gonna apply that to the other eye as well. Tapping the outer corner, circular, and then inward. And I do a bit of circular motions going inward as well so that it blends and it's not like a harsh line, because you want everything to kind of mesh together well, where you can't tell the difference in when you applied each color to your eye. And that's me tapping the excess powder. Okay, so now I'm gonna use one single shadow that I received in one of the packages. I used to use the monthly subscription where you receive a bunch of different makeups, creams, lotions, highlighters, everything you could think of. So with this, I'm gonna use an even smaller blending brush, which is the Pro Blending. This I believe is a Sephora brand. That's a large 27, but it's not large. It's the smallest blending brush that I have. And this is the color that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna tap into this, and I believe, if I'm not wrong, this is a pretty intense gray. This is where my eyeshadow is going to get a lot darker. And I'm gonna bring it a little more into the lid towards the middle, and circular motions. And this is how we're gonna darken our eyes. I don't normally use black too much on my lids because I have big eyes. And I'm not trying to look crazy like no damn raccoon or like someone beat me up or something like that. So we're gonna do it on the other eye. And bring it in a little bit closer to the middle of the lid. And like that. So I don't know if you see it coming together. And we're just gonna continue doing that. So I will be using some black today, but it's gonna be just for the outer part of the lid. Okay, that's what we're looking like so far. And it's always good to compare and look at both, because sometimes you may have eyeshadow that's more out further on this lid than the other, or higher. So you want to make sure that you make them as similar as possible. And we're gonna bring this out a little further outward. And do the same with the other eye. Bring it outward. And mix. I do want to apply more of this dark gray color. So, where are you? I'm gonna use a smaller brush. This is also a MAC, but the color completely disappeared. Not the color, the style completely disappeared. So I'm just gonna tap this on my lid, half of my lid, because I'm going for that sexy nighttime, nightlife, dark, seductive kind of look. Who doesn't want to look hot for their man's birthday, you know? And I felt like it worked for me that day. We went to Atlantic City and we stayed at the Hard Rock, and we went to the club in there, which was like really nice. It wasn't the biggest club, but their music was on point, and music got to be on point when you go out. You want to dance, have a good time. And if the music ain't on point and you're not feeling cute and the crowd ain't good, it is not gonna work out well. Okay, so I think that's pretty much how I want it to look. Looks a little bit different on my phone than it does here in the little mirror that I have, but we're gonna go with it. So now I'm gonna grab my little my other Morphe brush. It's more of a loose bristled brush, and I'm gonna wipe the excess powder off. And you can see that the line is more sharp. So before I forget, I'm gonna apply some blush, and this is my Morphe G4 brush that I use for my blush, and I'm using blush from the Tarte Rainforest After Dark palette. I love the blush in the middle. This palette also fell. Oh, you know what? I always do this. I'm gonna put my highlighter and then my blush over. So I'm gonna use this highlighter brush. This is also Morphe. This is part of that set I was talking about. And I'm gonna apply to the high point of my cheekbone and a little bit up the side of my hairline. And this is the Becca Champagne Pop. I love this. This came out years ago as well, but it's an oldie but a forever goodie. So we're gonna apply that, and you can apply some water or setting spray on your brush before you put the highlight on, and that will make it pop a lot more. So that's what we're looking like. Now I'm gonna apply the blush over the highlight, underneath the highlight, and on my cheeks, so that it gives it a more blended look. Again, you want everything to blend together. And that's pretty much that for the face. Now I'm going to apply a little highlighter underneath my brow bone. So I'm going to also use the same highlight, the Becca, and put that underneath the brow bone, highlight. We're trying to cake this face up. And I do it like halfway. I don't go all the way across my eyebrow. Okay, next we are going to apply apply false lashes. So these are my Ardell Black 113 Wispies. And we're just gonna apply the glue and let it dry. And I will be back as soon as they dry. Okay, so it looks like the lash glue has dried, so I'm gonna be applying the part of the lash that is longer and more curled goes to the outer part of your eye. So I'm gonna place this, I'm gonna lean down a bit. I'm looking in the mirror. I place the middle first, and then I'll grab the side and stick it to as close to my eyelashes as possible. And then I'll grab the other side. And again, I always tear for whatever reason. So I'm gonna apply this and stick it. And it may unstick from time to time when you're applying the opposite side. So just keep going back and forth and checking it to make sure that it is still sticking. I always make sure to bring glue with me though when I go out, because you never know. And that is just gonna look crazy. And I just press it against my lid. That's pretty much it.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I got my ahead of myself. I off camera put the lashes, added the eyeliner. I'm trying my best not to make this video too long. I did just put some highlight between the eyes. I just find that it makes the look pop so much more, especially with dark makeup, that shine between the eyes. I love it. I've been doing it forever. You can put some shadow underneath your eye on the bottom lid. I don't do that too much, only because I don't feel like it looks good on me. I've seen many girls do it and it looks good on them, but for whatever reason, it doesn't look so good on me, I don't feel. But I'm gonna do it for the sake of the video. And it's the same color that I used in the top when I blended, the lightest gray color. And we're gonna bring that in. Okay. So now we're gonna spray our face. And I leave my eyes closed for a few seconds because I don't want any creases from the between the moist of the spray and the actual powder from the shadow. Now I'm gonna put lipstick really quick. That night that we went out, I put like a nude glossy lip, but I'm gonna try a lipstick today, and this is the Makeup Forever color pencil. It's whatever Walnut 606. I didn't pat out. I like to pat out my sponge is still pretty moist, so I like to pat out the moisture I get from the spray, so it doesn't leave any dots, even though it's a pretty fine mist. And this is what the makeup is looking like. So I'm going to get dressed and give you a little more of the club vibe feel to give you my end result.
2 hours later.
So this is the final end result. This is somewhat of similar to what the outfit that I had on for my husband's birthday. I did have a cat suit on with high heels. Obviously I don't wear high heels often because I do have back problems, but for that day I did have high heels on. long sleeve catsuit. My hair was straight. Obviously it's not completely done at this time. So awkward having this dress up moment with no nails, but I did have accessories on. Again, the same makeup. Do a close-up really quick on the makeup situation. And yeah, this is what I was looking like for my husband's birthday. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you did learn something, and don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and press that bell notification so that you're notified every time that I upload a video. And until the next time, I will see you soon. Stay blessed. Bye.